I'm Tony Burgess, and I am absolutely delighted and inspired always to be here with friends from Uganda, Derick and Charity, who are behind an amazing organization called Move Network International. And a good friend of mine, David Heiner, introduced Derick to me, I think a couple of years ago now. Time flies. And I was immediately grabbed by Derick's passion, commitment, and the stories he told about the difference that was being made in the communities there in Uganda. So much so that I was dedicated to, I'm going to find ways to support Derick, Charity, and the other people who are involved, to make the great things happen that they're making happen. And if I can just perhaps come to you, because Derick and Charity, some of the work that you are doing, it can move me to tears. It's just like I think, wow, with so little, you're doing so much. And I just I want people to know what I already know. I've had colleagues of mine, even on the ground, who have seen it with their own eyes, met the people who are benefiting and so on. And I want people to know about this. Derick, can I ask you, first of all, I'll come to you in a bit, Charity. Derick, can I ask you, where did this all start? What was it that inspired you to do what you're doing? And then we'll get into what it's all about.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Derek, and thank you so much, Tony, for this wonderful opportunity. I usually feel great talking about this. So, basically, what inspired me to start Move Network International was my background as an individual, growing up from a humble family, coming from a family where we used to struggle for everything, struggle to get whatever we need to survive. And so I always grew up with this thing in my heart that I want to make the world a better place for young people and help support them throughout the journey that they take from childhood into adulthood, because it's a missing link that for personally I didn't get. So I want to help young people go through that process. But then later on, we when we founded the organization with Charity and some of my other friends, when we founded Move Network International, we focused most of our work on teenage mothers. And the reason why we focused on supporting teenage mothers was basically because like I said, I had a personal experience with that. Uh, in this case, it was my sister. So, yeah, my sister was a victim of teenage pregnancy. She became pregnant at the age of 15 when she was just in senior three. I don't know what that translates to other regions
Yeah.
outside Uganda, but she was in senior three. She had just joined secondary school, and the reason why she actually got pregnant was because of constant backlashes, because of constant quarrels that she always had with my dad. At one point, my dad took in two of his nieces and started paying for them school fees and neglected my sister, a child that he gave birth to. So he stopped paying school fees for her. And so because of these constant things that usually happened, she decided to run away from home, and she came back one day pregnant. And what happened was the entire family turned against her. They did not remember what were the reasons why she actually decided to do whatever she did. Well, she made a mistake and everything fell apart, that even the small opportunity she had to study was cut short. But for me, I've after looking back after some time, when I looked back and realized that, hey, wait a minute, when my sister actually gave birth as a teenager, the situation wasn't handled well by my parents and the rest of the people within the family. Because in my mind, I was like, if the situation was handled well and they realized that, well, she might have made a mistake, but she deserves a second chance. She deserves to be a child once again, and maybe they sent her back to school and so that they can brighten her future. That never happened. Instead, they left her. She had to become an adult at a young age. Before we knew it, she gave birth to her second son again as a teenager. And so her whole life became a mess. That even up to today as we speak, my sister still struggles because of the consequences of what happened and how the situation was handled while she was a teenager. So we decided to start an organization so that we can help teenage mothers maneuver those kind of circumstances, because there is a very big number of teenage mothers in Uganda, and most of them, when they become teenage mothers, their parents leave them. Some of them are disowned. Some of them, they are left to the world. They are tossed to the world to find their own means, and the society looks down on them. They look at them as bad omens, as bad examples, and most of them never go back to school. So in me, I felt like I shouldn't let these young girls go through what my sister went through, so that they can suffer in the future. We can actually do something now that can reshape their lives, so that tomorrow, in the next 5, 10 years, they will have a testimony. Their lives will be much better, because I have seen women who have given birth as teenagers, and because their situations were handled well, and today they are flourishing. And when you look at their lives, unless they tell you that they were actual teenage mothers, you cannot tell that they were one. So, and that is what we want to do as Move Network International. Yeah.
Totally empowering these teenage mothers to get their life back, really. And
Yeah.
may Charity, can I ask you what really fired you up? Because I know how passionate you are about these projects that you're involved in with Move Network International. Tell me a little bit about what fires you up and has you so passionate about it.
Thank you, Tony. So what inspires me to work alongside Derek towards achieving this vision is one, I have a personal story as well, but I won't share it now because of yeah, but I will give a hint of what really makes me want to support the teenage mothers. Like Derek said, in Uganda, when you become a teenage mother, you are a bad example. Very, very bad. Actually, if you have been educated and you at some point become a teenage mother, and most of the teenage mothers actually that we deal with are girls who have studied up to a certain level and then gotten pregnant and they have abandoned them. So most times if you have studied and then you become pregnant at a certain point, they believe you have wasted your parents' money. You have become a very bad example to the society. Sometimes your parents probably had hope in you, and at that point they feel like you have become a disgrace to them. And some parents actually even abandon you because they do not want to be embarrassed in their homes that they have a girl of about 14 years, 15 years, 16 years who is pregnant. So because of the way they are treated, the way society abandons them to the extent that even some people, even in the leadership in the church, actually do not associate with teenage mothers at all. They think you are a very bad omen. They think you're going to spoil the rest of the people around you. I remember when I was growing up at some point in my high school, and I was a very close friend to this friend of mine. Currently, she's of course now no longer a teenage mother because we are no longer teenagers. But how my parents would always cane me for being close to her. She was a teenage mother. She was a very close friend of mine, got pregnant because of, that excitement of adolescence and all that. And they never wanted me to associate with her. But also, that happens with very many girls who get pregnant. So for me, the way the girls are abandoned, like Derek said with his sister, that's how they actually treat most of them. They abandon you. If I told your parents want to help you, and then they actually make sure the society doesn't even get to know that you're pregnant. Maybe they take you to another relative's home or take you to the village so that no one knows that you're actually pregnant. So because of the way they are treated, it brings so much stigma to the girls. And most of them, because they have nowhere to go, they end up going to their supposed husbands, not really husbands, but supposed, the fathers to those children, because
Yeah.
that's where they feel they are going to find the comfort. They are the ones who understand them. But again, most of these men are actually men who already have families and don't even want to associate with the girls. So they reach a point where they are just on their own. The family doesn't want to associate with you. The man does not want to associate with you. He actually doesn't want you to even tell society that he's the father to the child. So you are in a place where you're stuck and you think the whole world has abandoned you. So I personally feel like once the girls are supported and they gain back their self-esteem, if they get to stand once again, then they can become better people in future. At some point when we had started, actually, some people in church would tell us we are promoting teenage pregnancy, we are supporting girls who are pregnant. It was
Talk of
weird,
local
for
leaders.
me, it was really weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we are supporting them, so we are encouraging girls to get pregnant. And I was like, man, you guys are crazy. We're actually helping the girls to understand that they have made a mistake, but just because they have fallen doesn't mean they should remain on the ground. They can get back on their feet, make their life straight, and they'll be the best people to go in schools, to go to wherever they have to go, to speak to other girls not to get to their situation because they have all the experience. So for me, I realized that if we can support the girls, then the girls can help very many girls in future, even without us doing so much work, as long as we have empowered them. Yes,
Wow.
thank you.
Thank you. And what I'm hearing here, and I know about the projects you're involved in and the difference it's making. Um, this is about getting them back on their own feet, feeling their self-esteem returning, feeling their self-worth returning, a sense of
Yeah.
empowerment. I know that, for example, you're getting people back into education, into skills training, in some cases getting small businesses off the ground, where they're ending up being role models to others, pillars of the community, making a real success of themselves, and the role model they'll be to their own child or children as they grow up. It's the knock-on benefits of this are really quite huge, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. That is very
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So basically, like from what we shared, you would really see that most of the things that we are doing are intentional because we want to focus on helping the girl come from their lowest point to becoming individuals who are valuable, one, to themselves, yeah, and then number two, to their family, but and then eventually to the community where they come from, because our biggest mission is to empower the teenage mothers with life and development skills so that they are able to pace with the so that they are able to keep pace with the competitive world. The world is changing, it's dynamic, it changes all the time. And so there are specific skill sets, there are specific things that these girls need to achieve, to acquire, so that they are able to live harmoniously with other people. Remember, they are a marginalized group of people, and as a marginalized group of people, they are usually looked down at. They are set aside, and they are not considered as people who can contribute anything big to the community. And so, because they're not considered as people who can contribute anything to the community, then they are left out in education, they are left out in business, they are left out in activism work, they are left out in everything. You get? So they have to figure out everything on their own. But these are young girls. They are still young. They need help. They need someone to support them. They need someone to hold their hand and pull them out. And so this is where now for us we come in. This is where we come in, and we are like, you know what? Some of these girls are very young and they can still be reintegrated back into education, and we send them back to school. So, some of them who might not willingly want to go back to the normal education system, we send them, and we send them to an institute, and they acquire a skill, a skill that something that they can use to actually go, they can leverage on and make money out of it, maybe start a business or maybe get a job out of it. And then we have the mental health support system that we run, where we practice heavening and tapping to help them manage stress and trauma. And then the other thing is that we also offer medical services, both to the girls and also the babies. We all know, and even for the people who might be listening to this later on, can agree with me that teenage pregnancy comes with a lot of health risks. That one we cannot debate. We cannot debate that, because these are young girls. So that alone comes with a lot of health risks, and every now and then they are in the hospital dealing with different issues. You get. So we have to help them by all means. And also the other thing is that they live in slums. Actually, 98% of the girls that we deal with live in slums. They live in swamps, houses that are waterlogged, full of mosquitoes everywhere. And every time they are falling sick, their kids are falling sick. We have a girl who has a kid who is sickler, who is in the hospital all the time, and it's quite expensive. So we are always there to support them. The good thing with her is that when we started for her a business, it somehow elevated her financial status, and now she's able to cover part of the majority of the bill, and so it has somehow improved the life of their livelihood and also the child. So so we have seen tremendous impact. We have seen these girls taking up mantles of leadership. They have become leaders and role models. We have seen them supporting each other. There is great peer support. So when one of them is going through a certain kind of trouble, they are there, they jump in, and they are able to support. By the time we are coming in, sometimes they are the ones who report to us what is actually going on. And those are things that we never used to see. Teenage pregnancy comes with a lot of stigma. Yeah. We have had to deal with girls who like have the opportunity to actually go back to school, but because of stigma, because they feel like, how will people see me, how will my fellow students look at me, we had to deal with girls like that and eventually send them back to school. A few years ago, we had two of our girls graduate from high school, just because of that extra push and extra support. So the impact is tremendous. The work that we are doing is there. Although we might have limitations here and there, but with the little resources that we have and a great team of volunteers and mentors that we have been able to do what we are doing, and we are seeing the impact. And now we feel it's the time for us to scale what we are doing. It's time for us to reach out even in a more valuable way, so that the impact is now multiplied across everything that we are doing. Yeah.
Because the demand for this kind of support is far greater than you're currently able to support. And
Exactly.
you're saying individual lives change for the better, and then them
Exactly.
the knock-on benefit of them being role models to others and mentors to others. And
Yeah.
to be able to expand that and make it happen for more people. That's really what this is all about. This is where you're
Yeah.
going next, and it's exciting because I hear the personal stories, and my friends and colleagues who have visited you in Uganda and met the people and seen the effect with their own eyes, they report back, and it's even more inspiring than for me. And
Yeah.
If I may just ask Charity, if you know that myself and David Hine, my good friend who introduced Derick to me originally, we're running a series of masterclasses online to really try and generate some funds to be able to give to the charity. We've got 8 presenters who are willing to give their time for free. We're giving great value for those who are going to be signing up for masterclasses. But the most important thing is all monies will then be going to the project to make a difference. If there was someone now watching this video in UK or America or somewhere else in the world and they're thinking of signing up for the masterclass, what would you like to say to them if they're kind of shall I, shan't I, what would you like to say to them, Charity?
Okay, thank you. So one is I would like to tell them that if you can afford the master classes, at least a session, it would be really good for you to attend because you're going to, you're going to acquire knowledge, you're going to acquire wisdom, of course, from brilliant people who have expertise. So you're going to acquire knowledge, but most importantly, you're going to support a girl. You're going to support a girl right here in Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, like we call it. Yes, you're going to support a girl right here in Uganda, but you're also going to get knowledge. So I would personally encourage people out there to subscribe because you're going to get knowledge, but you're also going to support a girl. And the support you're going to extend, you can't imagine. You just can't imagine because if you support one girl and then in future she can mentor thousands of girls through, of course, people that she will get to work with very closely, then you can imagine the influence you're going to create. So I would encourage them to subscribe and yeah, they will be glad they did so. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And Charity, may I just ask, I know I'm getting a lot out of you both while I've got you here on this call. Charity, could you just tell me a story of a particular girl that just illustrates what's possible, really, when we get some funds coming in and you're able to do what you lead in this project. Can you just give me a specific example so it's almost like we've got a story of an individual?
Okay, so a story of a girl. Now I am thinking which girl, because I have very many.
Sure.
But this particular girl for me, she's called Safina. She's a very, very young girl. So Safina, um, have for her, her dream is to become a nurse, particularly to become a nurse. And when we asked her for her reasons were, I want to save lives, but most importantly, I want to help young girls who go to hospital to give back like myself. And everyone is abusing them for having erred and all that. And I am there to just help them, but also speak to them as they're in that place. So for me, Safina is this story because one, Safina was not studying. Of course, at first she was studying and then she got pregnant and then she was not studying. Safina got pregnant at about 15 years, if I remember so well. So when she got pregnant, she was not studying anymore. She was at home, but also she has medical issues. She has medical issues. So many times she's falling sick, sicknesses that can't be explained. In Uganda, some people call them witchcraft, but of course they are not witchcraft. But yeah, she just has a health issue where she keeps falling sick. So after Safina giving birth, she's home and she's not doing anything, taking care of her child, staying with her mother, thankfully not staying with a man, of course, because the man refused the baby and all that. So Safina is staying with her mother. And when we start applying and speaking to Tony and other friends of ours about the girls going back to school, those who are willing to go back to school, Safina actually was one of those girls who agreed to go back to school. And Safina went back to school at the beginning of last year, And for me, what is impressive is when Safina went back to school, and she started performing so well. At some point, we didn't have the funds. Of course, when she started, we paid all the tuition and all the requirements. But at some point, we get stuck and we don't have all the funds to pay the tuition anymore. And for me, what is inspiring was how the mother comes in to pay part of the fees now to support us, to support her own child. So for me, the fact that if we support the girls, their parents then come in and also start believing in them, because they are like, wait a bit, if Move Network International can believe in my girl to take her back to school, how about me, the parents? So if the parents can see what we are doing and also come in to support their girls, then for me, it's very inspiring. And when we got her report card last time, which was end of first term here in Uganda, it was impressive because she's performing very well, even with a health condition. Of course, every time she's sick, we encourage her to go to hospital, and then we are handling the medical bills. But even with that health condition, she's still studying and she's performing very well. So for me, Safina is one of those girls that have gotten back on their feet. And impressively, after Safina going to school, very many girls started saying, I also want to go back to school. I want to go back to school, because they started feeling inspired by what she's actually doing right there in school. So she's one of them. Like I said, I have so many.
Yes.
Thank you.
And just again the knock-on benefits of like changing the lens at which her parents are looking at things, but also the effect on other girls of like, wow, there's an inspiration there to help
Yeah.
nudge them to take the opportunities that Move Network International are providing. I just really want to, if I may, just thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this wonderful service in the world. It's always inspiring talking to you. Right from the first time I met both of you, it's just been like, you're just big-hearted individuals that make things happen. And you keep your belief even when things are really tough, even when you don't know where the next medical bill is going to be paid from. It's like you're so dedicated and you're so hope-filled and so heart-led. I just really want to thank you. And for those who are watching this and saying, well, yeah, I want to help Move Network International either through a donation or for signing up to the masterclass, there will be a link under the post where you're seeing this video. So please use the link, have a look, come back to me with any questions, and please find a way in your heart to help Move Network International do the great work that they're doing. Thank you both for being here today. And let's hope we get some really good money in the coffers that allow you to take things to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.